In this video, I'm going to go over my planting plans for the You Pick Flower Farm, the whole organization of the farm in general, as far as planting, what I'm putting in each row, the spacing for each row, each plant, the plants specifically, which varieties, where they're going, the purpose of each row, the spacing of the rows, and let's get started. So now this is how I have it set up. I have 11 rows of 4 feet by 5 feet, or 50 feet, and 5 rows of 4 feet by 100 feet. These are the 11 50-foot rows. These are the 500-foot rows. I have this area, 50 foot by 100 foot, for parking and porta potties. This is 200 feet by 200 feet, 200 feet, 200 feet, with a total of 40,000 square feet, which is just shy of 1 acre. 1 acre is 43,000 square feet. I put aside this little area right here, which is a 25 by 40 foot area for wedding photos, or just photos for photographers and photos in general. I have the whole outline of the flower farm lined in sunflowers. So I have tall branching sunflowers, tall branching sunflowers, tall branching sunflowers, tall branching sunflowers, and then around the parking and the entrance, I have short branching. These are 2 to 3 feet. Short branching. This is 75 feet, which would be shorter than that. I would cut some of that off for the entrance right here, so people can walk through. This area right here would be a check-in area. And then a little past that, we would do an instruction area where we show people how to cut. Because we don't want them to cut their blooms too early where they won't open up, or cut them too late that they won't last in a vase. So next, let's go on to what we're planting. Oh, the sun stepped all over the paper. So again, this is the 6 50-foot beds. Pretend this is a bed right here. I didn't draw it right. And then these are my succession sunflowers that I'm doing in the 100-foot beds. Every 2 weeks, I'm gonna plant in each bed. I have the bed numbers, or the weeks that I'll be planting. So in week 1, I'll plant this bed. Week 3, 2 weeks later, week 3, I'll plant this bed. 2 weeks later, on week 5, I'll plant this bed. 2 weeks later, week 7, plant this bed. 2 weeks later, plant this bed. And that would be on week 9. And then I would go back to the top. So then we're gonna harvest this bed. We give 2 weeks, 2 weeks to harvest this bed and prep it for the next round. So on week 11, we plant another succession in here. And then over those 2 weeks, or 2 more weeks, then we harvest this bed from week 3. We harvest from week 3, and then we replant it on week 13. Same goes for each bed, right? So here's week 15. We don't have another succession after that. So we plant here, we harvest, and then plant again on week 15. Harvest, plant again on week 17. Harvest, plant again on week 19. Back up to the first bed. We're gonna harvest and plant again on week 21. Harvest and plant this bed on week 23. And then we're not gonna have any more plantings because we won't have time for it to grow. We won't have time for it to grow to harvest because it'll be too close to the frost. So then we stop planting there. What we have planned for the planting in each bed, white light, 400 white light, 400 white night, 200 gold light, 400 plum, 200 peach. Those are all Procuts. And it would be the same for week 3 here, the same for week 5 plantings. And then when we get to week 7, I'm gonna start planting more of my autumn colors. So I'm still gonna do the white night and white light because we plan to use those for weddings. And then we go into I start planting the red lemon bicolor and then the red. I have some more plans for these ones because so far into the planting season, I didn't continue to decide what I'm going to do. But I will carry these down here. And then I have some other Bohemian Rhapsody Sunburst. Those are darker colored ones, so I'll get those into here. Those ones are not Procut, however, they are pollenless and they are branching. And I plan to use those around the edges as well, around the edges of the flower farm. Into the 50-foot beds, I have zinnias. These are planting. This is 60 down the long side, down the 50, and then 5 plants wide. So 66 plants long, 5 plants wide, with a total of 330. Those are 9 inches apart. And I have that planned for these 3 rows. I have Cosmos planned for this row, and these are at 5 feet. These are also 9 inches. These are going to be 5 wide, 5 plants wide, 66 long, with a total of 330 Cosmos. Same for this row, 330 Cosmos. Gomphrena, I have planned 150 with 9-inch planting. And then Atriplex, 150, and those are 9-inch planting as well. So that, again, is going to be 5 wide, and then 33 long, and then 5 wide and 33 long. Planting at 9 inches apart. That's going to be Strawberry Fields, and then the Atroplex is a mix between the red and the green. I have Celosia planned for this bed, and this is 6-inch planting, 6 inches between each plant. So it's going to be 8 wide, 8 long, and 100 long, with a total of 800 Celosia. I have a few different Celosias. I'll go into that in a minute. Amaranth, Basil, Sweet Annie, and Marigold. Amaranth would be 12 inches apart, so it'd be 4 wide and 10 long. Basil and Sweet Annie would be 6 inches apart. That's going to be 40 wide and 8 long. The total of 320 plants. Amaranth is 40 plants. Marigold, I have 20 long and 4 wide. 4 wide and 20 long. And so that would make a total of 80 marigold plants. The last 3 beds I have set for wedding flowers. So these would all be white flowers. I'm going to have white zinnias, different ones. I have polar bear. I'm also going to use coral, since coral is a popular color in wedding flowers right now. And then I mix in some Gomphrena, which I white Audrey Gomphrena, and just some other white mixes in here that I have seeds of already. And here's another layout. If you were to do a longer space, right? And so then I have 6 beds. And these would be longer, like 75 feet. And then sunflowers here, succession of sunflowers here, and Amaranth and Sweet Annie Marigold, Cosmos, Celosia, Gomphrena, Zinnia, Amaranth, Celosia, Gomphrena. I've got them matching on both sides over here, on both sides. We would do check-in in the front instructional area towards the center. And with my main layout, I forgot to say that these, in between each row, is 5 feet. In between each 4-foot row is 5 feet. That way it's plenty of room for people to move through. You know, 2 people can move through it very easily at one time. We can get wheelchairs through it. We plan to mulch this whole area, the whole outer area, with wood chips, free wood chips that we would get from local companies. These are the seeds that we have that I plan on using. I'll need to get more of the Procuts. I don't have enough. These are my sunflowers. tall branching ones. These ones would go around the edges mostly. I would just do one succession of those around the edges. The amaranths that I have are the Myra, the Tall Mix, and the Autumn's Touch. And this is the number of seeds that I have of those. The Atriplex, I have the Plume Mix, and I have 1,000 of those, which is way more than I need, right? Save them for the next year, the following years. This is a maroon and green mix. I have 50 of the Sweet Annie. Basil, I have 2 different varieties. I have Sweet Annie, and I have Purple Ruffle. The Gumfrina, we have the Strawberry Fields, and the Audrey White. Celosia, I have a Sunday Mix, and the Christie Purple. Oh, I also have Mexican Sunflower, the Red Torch, and I have 1,000 of those. The Benares Giants, I have wine, purple, white, lime, coral, orange, pink, and yellow. And I would do all of those in like a rainbow. This is how I figured my Procut, how many seeds I'm gonna need, and how I figured my succession planting. If I plant from April to September 1st, I will have blooms out until October. That would give me, planting it every 2 weeks, that would give me 12 successions over 23 weeks. Each bed is gonna hold, it's gonna be 8 plants by 200 plants with a total of 1,600 sunflowers. Over the 23-week succession, I should have harvested 19,200 sunflowers. That does not account for a 20% loss. But that is how many seeds that I will need for my Procut succession plantings. And then this is how I decided, or how I figured out my beds for succession planting, 1 every 2 weeks. For my outer edges of the flower farm, around the parking area, I have short branching sunflowers, and those will be planted every 12 inches. And since it's a 100-foot area total, it's going to be 100 seeds of the short branching. Around the whole outer edge, it's 700 feet, and it's planting every 12 inches, so I'll need 700 seeds of the tall branching. And so here's my total for the number of seeds that I will need of sunflowers. So my zinnias, I have three beds committed to zinnias, 3 4-foot beds by 50 foot. I would plant those every 9 inches. So that would give me 333 plants per bed. If I planted 5 wide and 66 long. If I started planting my seeds indoors in March, and then planted out my seedlings in April, I would have blooms around June 1st. My total seed count was 990 for zinnias. If I had succession rows of zinnias, I would need 666 more seeds. So total, if I do those 2 beds, the 2 wedding beds, the white wedding beds, I will need a total of 1,650 zinnia seeds. Now I just roughly started counting bloom count over the 22-week period, and each zinnia plant is gonna give me at least 1 bloom per week. And so that calculated out to be 21,780 blooms over a 22-week period. That's if I can harvest on them every single week. That's gonna help me figure out my how many people I can get into the flower farm, how many people can cut, because I have to have the blooms for them to cut. If we don't sell all the blooms, or if people don't cut all the blooms, we are going to sell them wholesale to florists. The sunflowers, we will get every 2 weeks, we should get about 1,800 right? Because we planted 1,800 seeds. So we'll probably, or 1,600 seeds. We'll probably get, if we count a 20% loss on that, that's going to be somewhere around 1,200, 1,400, right? And so you can sell those at $2 a stem to the general public, wholesale. Our local florist gives $1.25 per stem. So that will be about $1,600 every 2 weeks if I sold to florist. I hope that helps anybody that's researching or trying to start a flower farm. There's a lot of hours put into it, so feel free to use it for yourself. Feel free to ask any questions if you have any questions. I gotta stop saying I got a baby disturbing me. Just jump in there, little baby. She's so mad about the phone. Where was I at? Think about it, think about it. Yeah, well, I hope that helps you. Like, comment, and subscribe so more people see. Oh, future videos. So I'm gonna go into my the irrigation. I have all that figured out, how much drip tape I need, how much water is gonna go through the drip tape, how many times I need to water, how many rows of drip tape in between each line or in between each row. So stay tuned for that video.